the wider picture as to why I'm bothered about the next generation, it is probably the obvious thing that you were thinking. It's the fact that if somebody hadn't taken the time to do that for my dad, then I wouldn't have had the life experience I've had. And if we're not careful, there's only something like $28,000. A great many at the older age of the spectrum, and towards the end of their career, will die out. And it's not even the fact that we could die out. We serve about 8 to 9% of the population, whichever article you're reading at the time ought to give you a slightly different answer. But it's a very elitist thing that we actually do, and it should be something that we share with the greater community, because there's a lot of good in the work that we do. So if there's more of us and we're a bit more innovative, we can find better price points, we can find different levels of service, and we can actually enlighten quite a few more people about the good that financial planning can do. Where I take issue with some other advisors, they solely focus around retirement. And don't get me wrong, the point at which you start drawing the income from your investments and stop adding to them, psychologically, it's a difficult point in time. Getting the investments correctly structured is also a difficult thing to do, and it's volatility in the marketplace, sequencing risk, and all that sort of stuff. It's a difficult challenge, but we shouldn't ignore the 20, 30 years prior to retirement that people live, because not everybody's going to get to 60 and retire. And too many people will live that unfulfilled life of just 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. And that's if they're lucky, because it's more than 9 to 5 in a lot of the professions that we deal with people. But they don't do the stuff that they could have done. So I had a call with business owners this morning, and they're in their late 30s. And what prompted them to come to me was that their parents didn't have any sort of plan for their retirement, and they're just not doing anything now, and they've not saved enough. And so actually we talk about the wider financial planning aspects, and they've got their own design agency. Well, do you take the summers off? You've got 3 children. You could have 6 weeks off every single year while your kids are at school, and you could go in a camper van and explore Europe. We've already had a camper van pre-COVID, and actually virtually sold it in COVID for a bump of profit. But that's the sort of stuff that people don't think is financial planning. They think financial planning is, well, I just need to put more into a pension because I don't want to look at my parents. But actually, maybe we could restructure life, that we can have half a day a week off so we can go and volunteer for a cause that was close to our heart. The stuff that would fill your own cup and make you fulfilled, so that you have the energy and passion to work the other 4.5 days with vigor. But a lot of people have drained out of them because they just feel like, well, what is the point? I'm just a slave to money and nothing else. Or it could be that you get, the 6, 7 week period of time off where you're fortunate enough that you've taken the risk, you've started a business. Yes, there's going to be a dip in income while you're away, but what does that give you in terms of return on life with the family? As much as I kind of hate that phrase, but also I'd be willing to suggest they'll probably earn more money in the rest of the year while they are working, because they're hugely energized. So these are the things that a financial planner can give. So we just need to have more financial planners. We need to have more financial planners that view it, without this sounding arrogant, in the way that I view it, rather than it being a product solution based thing. It's actually, let's look at the entirety of your situation. Let's think holistically. Let's probe and ask difficult questions and get your level of thinking to where it needs to be, where it's not just about be tax efficient, here's a pension, but it's actually, what can money do for you, and how can it change your life, both now and in the longer term and in the medium term, and just open up to possibilities rather than feel restricted.